back again for our 10th episode of Saturday Live. My name again is Johnny Williams, and I'm excited about this week's topic because quite often I've used the analogy of chess over checkers. And I hear it mentioned, I've seen pictures and memes over the years with individuals just speaking about, I play chess, not checkers. But what does that comment mean? You see, when we say chess over checkers, what we're talking about isn't the game aspect of chess over checkers. It's about how one moves about the board when playing chess or when merely playing checkers. See, checkers are very simple little circles, right? One color and another color, a lot like life, where we get hung up on color. But chess gives you different pieces, and each piece comes with its own story, its own power. So today we're going to start with the concept of where so many people are. Like right here. We're on the board of life, and many of us are playing checkers. And what I mean by that, and never any disrespect by saying that, because I've had to evolve from this state of living and being and thinking and believing myself. Checker players in the game of life just merely means that we're not as aware of our habits. And because of that, we're very predictable when life presents itself in different ways, through different people, teaching different lessons. So, if we're all here, let's just say that this is where we're starting on this board. And you see, I got a lot of places that we can go on this board. Life presents us so many options, free will. But as life challenges us, and we find that it's really me versus me, you versus you. You're not taking on me, I'm not taking on you. When we can get past that, that's part of the evolution from thinking from a checker mindset to a chess mindset. But if we are here, life has presented us over these last 10 weeks something to react to. Whether it's political, whether it's medical. I've seen individuals, and I've been lured and had to catch myself from reaction. I've seen, and I've been invited to, resort back to comfort zones. And the mere purpose of me doing this Saturday Live, this being the 10th, from day one, I mentioned, was to challenge my comfort zone. There is no going backwards. So we need to go forward. And life still, in spite the political landscape, the medical landscape, the financial landscape, we still have options as to where we move. So if we're playing checkers, we have 4 predictable outcomes, 4 directions that we can take. And I'm not talking about north, south, east, and west. I'm talking about forward right, forward left, backwards right, backwards left. Some of us go backwards towards reaction, especially when race comes into play. We react, we don't think. And if we are thinking like chess players, from what piece of the chess family are we thinking? Are we thinking like a king or a queen? Are we guarding our limited beliefs and biases like a knight or a bishop? Or are we just someone's pawn, someone's political game that they're playing with you and me? So, today's all about replacing a habit. Is your move. But are you moving from thinking about it, or are you moving from habit? You see, if you're moving from habit, then somewhere somebody out there has figured out how to study you, manipulate you, market to you, and steer your ship, your life, your thoughts, your beliefs. And that's what I want to talk about today. So as you look up here and you see all these different options, that's life. That's life. We got the white spaces and we got the black spaces. That's life. But there's something to learn and something to see about ourselves in each of those aspects. So let's just say we're not going backwards. Now that we're aware that backwards is reaction and backwards is comfort zone. We're now here, and now we've learned that we have to find comfort in being uncomfortable. That was the biggest benefit from speaking on multiple continents, many different countries, and all across this here United States. Speaking was my greatest concern. I almost said fear, but it's my concern. What concerned me when I got behind what I thought was fear was the fact that I might not have something relevant to say. What kept me from doing live presentations before the 1st, now today's the 10th, is the concern that you wouldn't show up, you wouldn't watch, and you wouldn't find value in what I was sharing with you. But the only way to see if my concerns were justified or valid was to do it, was to go forward and not retreat back into my comfort zone. So, do we go forward right towards self-awareness? Or do we venture forward left into life? Everywhere you go on the board is life. But many of us are taking steps forward in new directions because we find ourselves in a new landscape. There's a new way that we have to now interact with each other. There's a new way that we dine with each other. There's a new way that we grocery shop together. You see, all these things have been growing into existence over the last 10 plus weeks. And we've just been watching the game play out. But it's time for us to make a choice. If you head forward left to life, be open to the lessons it has to teach you. It's teaching me something every day. Every day it's teaching me something. If you head forward right to self-awareness, this would be a great tool. Something to think about. My Facebook family and friends helped me decide on the cover. And one thing that came to me actually in my sleep was to change the tagline from 369 thought-provoking quotes to 369 steps to self-awareness. And what does that mean? What does that really mean? That means that in this particular book, and next week I will actually be breaking down this book, so I won't do it today. I offer up 369 moments in time that life stood as my greatest teacher. And I jotted those things down. I captured the emotion, the frustration, the love, the enlightenment, all that came with life's lessons that day. I have thousands of quotes, but I only put 369 in this particular book. But I put thought prompts to go with each quote and lines for you to begin writing yourself to complete your own book, which makes it unique in itself. But you will see how you think. You will see how you feel when reading certain things and remembering certain things and being challenged to do certain things within this book you'll become more aware of yourself, and you have 369 opportunities to do so. Each day, those that already have downloaded the Think About It app in the Apple and Android store have realized that whether they have the free version, which is a catchy short statement like replace a habit, or whether they have the long version, which is like today's quote, which comes from an unreleased product, 33 more quotes that'll keep them thinking. I'm going to turn to the 25th thought, which is what replace a habit is connected to. And I'm going to read you today's quote, which will also be found in the notes section as usual. So after this live is done, I would hope that you'd go back, you'd rewatch it, you'd look through the notes, follow the links to get some more information on habits and an interesting car conversation of mine that I've included in it. But I just want to read this to you as it relates to our theme today of replace a habit. How much time does a poor man spend practicing the routine of the rich man? Or how much time does the poor woman spend practicing the routine of the rich woman? Or even thinking affluent thoughts? This might be a logical step for jumping the economic tracks. So here in this affluent nation of America, where everybody can reach for their dream, and we talked about it last week with the pyramid and moving forward and aspiring to rise, but rise towards what? Success or significance? Those two words seem very similar, and they do have some common chords, but there's a fork in the road between success and significance. Both entail you moving forward towards an outcome, towards a journey. But I invite you to seek out the definition for yourself. We got to stop being so reliant on people spelling everything out for us and taking away the journey that's necessary. We got to stop just becoming consumers of information and fail to apply what's been learned. There are lots of people with great books that have read great books, reading great books right now. But the content in those books is like perfume on the skin, or cologne sprayed on, or lotion that we apply. It's only at the skin level. It doesn't become who you are. So therefore, the author's content won't work for you as advertised until you apply what you've acquired, what you've studied. So I invite you to take those 369 steps to self-awareness. Each day, become more aware of yourself. And each day, allow life to be your teacher. Now, whichever way we go, there are more options. If we go the route of self-awareness, we begin to look back and reflect on what we've been through, mistakes we made. We stand upon the great choices that we made, and we're able to leverage everything, our wins and our losses. You see, it's me versus me, and you versus you. So sometimes we got to safeguard ourselves from our own bad habits. So leverage comes with age, comes with experience. You learn that you can take advantage of mistakes. You can take advantage of opportunities. So I hope to leverage this time that you're giving me, that I'm giving to you, that we might grow and we might better advance throughout this board of life, so we both can progress towards our outcome, whichever one it's important to you. For me, it's significance. But I was groomed and I was taught and I was enticed by success. But success made it about me and you competing. To me. It was expressed to me that way. So I'll never put words in your mouth or assume that you and I had the same exact examples. But certain things are pretty common. Significance is the path that life has pointed me towards. And life's lessons have encouraged me. And that I find very satisfying. The outcome. The outcome isn't always as impressive outwardly to the community, to others, but it's 100% satisfying to me. Significance allows me to ride with life's ups and its downs, knowing that I'm going to leverage everything. But in order to leverage everything, self-awareness has taught me that I was hanging on to a lot, and I need to let some things go. I need to let go of some of my beliefs. I need to let go of the past, because I've already passed the past. Hear what I'm saying? I'm already past my past, and as you are as well. So be careful with beliefs. Challenge your beliefs. Question your beliefs. Look into your beliefs. Get behind your beliefs. Because what I found in the word belief and believe is the lie. Just like I found the con in connection. Those that love you unconditionally, right? They uncon the love in that connection. But we got to be careful with our beliefs, because for a lot of people, they shape our reactions. If I go with life, I just continue learning something new every single day. Even with this live, we're learning better ways to put it out. We're learning from the topics that take us on a journey each week. And I say we, there's a me and we. But often we don't always acknowledge our partners that are right there with us along the way. So special shouts out to Talene. That's my partner, that's my we and me. So we learn each week with these themes. And we also learned we had to replace some habits. And because we replace those habits, each day we learn something new about each other. So this board isn't just about making money and racing through life. I want to take my sweet time with this game of life. Because I plan to be here to see triple digits. 100, 105, 110. I don't know about you. But I came from nowhere, and I'm now here, and I'm going back to nowhere. And I know that this vessel that you see as Johnny Williams only has so much time to do what I came to do. And I want to enjoy it. I want to ride this thing called life out as far as I can and return back to energy, return back to consciousness, having made a contribution of my mistakes and my good choices, having helped myself, helped my family, and helped someone else. So even in our own household, we have habits. It's easy to say I do. It's easy to say I do. We've been groomed through beliefs to stand in front, family, friends, priests, specialists, or wedding professional, and say I do. But you're not necessarily marrying who you think you are. You're marrying their habits. You're not marrying the intentions of what they said when they said I do. To have and to hold. Through sickness and in health. Good times and bad times. Ups and downs. All that good stuff. And as soon as the bad times come, or ushered in by our bad habits, we realize you're not doing what you said you were going to do. You're not who you said you were. And then we head to places like Facebook and we mention things about relationships and we post the comments and post the little pictures that have nice little words that reflect that we're in a loving space, or we're in a I can't stand love space. So we got to be very careful to look at the person's habits that we're with, not necessarily the words for which they throw at us. Who we intend to be and who we actually are often two different things as we attempt to keep the peace. But we've learned over the weeks, this is not peace. This is division. This is peace. So we got to come together and really look at who we choose to align with in our partnerships and understand that we're going to be sharing space with these people. Is your bed a mess? Or do you make your bed? Is your bed a mess? Or do you make your bed? So let's talk about some of these habits. In the link, in the subject section, you'll find a YouTube link there that actually takes you to a 8 or 9 minute description of a book that's called Atomic Habits. And it's got a lot of simple points in regards to how we go about building a habit. So I start here because you see I already pointed to make your bed, and I asked you, is your bed a mess or is your bed made? I can tell you that in our house, the bed is made. The bed is made each and every day. So that way, the first thing we do before we go off and prepare to offer encouragement, guidance, support, and love to anybody in this world, we've already cleaned up our house before we assist others in cleaning up their house. You see, both Talene and I are in the self-help, self-discovery, self-actualization, self-motivation, self-awareness business. I deal more with the motivation, encouragement, and critical thinking. She does more in the spirituality, quantum physics, and quantum therapy. So she deals more in what people don't see, and I deal more in what they think they do see. The yin and the yang. But both of us see fit that before we begin our day and begin assembling and working with other people, we make our bed. That's a great first habit if it's not already a habit. Some, no judgment, might say, oh my God, my bed's a mess, my room's a mess. As within, so without. The outside mirrors the inside. The inside mirrors the outside. It's me versus me, not me versus you. So, I had to find someone whose habits align with my habits. And oftentimes people think it takes 21 days to make a habit. Like if that's the case, why do we keep creating resolutions? Every January 1st, you got people posting, here goes my list of new resolutions. Now, I see the word solution in resolution, but I also see the RE preceding it. Resolution, as in repeat the solution, as in repeat the solution, as in repeat the solution. So that meant the solution didn't work the first time. Otherwise, we'd be celebrating January 1st outcomes and not resolutions. So this right here, this 21-day habit is a myth. They say technically it takes about 62 to 68 days for something to become a habit. Something becomes a habit when you forget that you forgot that you even have to remember or remind yourself to do it. It's natural now. So oftentimes it takes 21 days to build the platform for creating a new habit. Most people have a habit of holding their breath for 21 days, hoping that 21 days makes the habit, when all they were doing was creating the framework to create a habit. We want to help some people today. We want you to move about this board. And we got to make a decision as to whether we're playing chess or whether we're playing checkers. So, what are we really talking about? We're talking about your routine. See, these are the things in black that I'm going to get into right now that sometimes stand in our way of creating new habits. If your routine is not working for you, it's working against you. Do you have prosperous routines? Do you have negative routines? Do you have dysfunctional routines, or do you have functional routines? We've been talking about habits all day, and I mentioned about beliefs. So let's go on to begin this process of how do we move towards putting in place the right habits. In the book that's mentioned, Atomic Habits, they suggest, number one, that habit stacking. Stack a habit. Work with the habits you already have. So oftentimes when we were children, we were taught, I hope you were taught, that when you go to use that little restroom, you flush. So nobody else comes into the bathroom after you and catches any surprises, right? So our parents or parent or elders, whoever was the one raising you, raising me, they taught us we flush immediately after. Once we got through that, many of us were then taught to go immediately from pressing the lever on the toilet to the sink where we'd wash our hands. And they began to suggest that washing our hands becomes a habit. Always wash your hands. We find ourselves now with medical concerns that we've been reacting to that have challenged some of our comfort zones. And they are suggesting to the U.S. public, as if we need this suggestion, that we should be washing our hands. So maybe that's an ideal habit. So habit stacking is taking something like that and adding to it. What good habit do you know you already have? And how can you now add a subtle next habit? Another example that will be mentioned in the video that's linked in the comment section is brushing one's teeth and starting the process of flossing. So you're adding to the habit of brushing teeth the flossing habit. So they call that habit stacking. The next aspect is starting a ritual. Starting a ritual. And a ritual is something that actually helps you kickstart that habit. That might mean when you're heading home from work and you know when you get off the exit, the gym is right there and home is to the right, you turn left. Instead of turning right to go home, you turn left. One of the habits that we have, that Talina and I have, prior to making the bed, is we snuggle for at least 30 minutes every day. Now, I might get in trouble for saying that, but it's all right. I say that because when people see a smile on my face, when people see a smile on her face, or glow from me or glow from her, oftentimes it's because neither one of us is love deficient. Many of us are in long-standing relationships and love deficient. Many of us have kids we haven't hugged. Special individuals in our lives we haven't hugged. Parents we haven't hugged. Brothers, sisters we haven't hugged. And they say in order to thrive in this life, a person needs at least 5 hugs a day. And we talk about hugs that last anywhere from 30 seconds to 1 minute. Now, most people are like, oh my, that sounds awkward. My kids are not gonna go for that. If I hug my kids and I don't do that little pat, pat, pat thing, like we're just going through the process, and I really hug them, and they're ready, let me go, Mom, let me go, Dad, and you're still hanging on. But they need it. Babies accepted it, but they were taught through beliefs at school to let you go. They were taught by the reactions of their peers. Hell, you still hug your parents? And And we started to social distance long before they said social distancing. Social media in itself was a strategic move on the chessboard of life to get us to begin social distancing. So as I talk about how we engage this board of life and how we make our bed every day, I have to give you truths that also reflect how we sustain our relationship. As you look at my Facebook post, you will often see a very consistent name, no matter what the post is, whether it's a video, whether it's one of my quotes, whether it's a picture, whether it's somebody else's quote, you will see Talene's name. And I try to make sure on her page, you will see my name. But she is a lot more diligent than me. But that speaks to a relationship where we have a habit of supporting each other. So we got to make habits. It's one thing for somebody to say, I got your back. You either got my back or you're holding me back. And most people get it twisted. You either got my back and you're pushing me forward or you're holding me back. And many of us have a habit of holding people back. So I just want to kind of put it out there because I'm sure folks have gone and liked a picture or followed something or shared one of my posts or my videos, and I truly appreciate you for doing that. But when you see that name, Talene, in any of those posts or likes or comments, that's our relationship on display right in front of you. Right in front of you. We got habits of supporting each other. So we don't talk it and don't walk it. But I can point to you and say our habit is making the bed. But as it relates to starting a ritual that creates a habit that works for you, it now does not feel natural getting out of the bed and making the bed unless we have had our hug time. Okay? Just to let each other know you're important, you're special. And my day starts with thoughts of you. Before we get up and the phone rings and people want our attention here, people need us here, people ask for advice, we got things, life, bills, all that stuff that happens to you. We put each other first. It all depends on what you're pursuing on this board. I wish to be significant to her, and she works to be significant to me. That together we might be seen as successful, but we were satisfied all the way to this destination. We could care less about that because we've already succeeded at being significant to one another, significant to our own selves. So let's move forward. Moving on from starting a ritual is syncing your new habit with pleasure. So let's just say you have a favorite artist and you just downloaded their album. Habit syncing would be to say, I only listen to that album when I'm walking or when I'm working out. But I gotta hear their song. Well, guess what? You need to wait till your lunch break and you need to take yourself around the building, outside the building, and you put those earbuds in and you listen to the song only when walking. So now you're creating a habit. You're feeding something that you don't really want to do, which is putting in place a new habit, replacing a stagnant, sit still, get out of shape habit. When you go to the bathroom, you look in the mirror, you don't like what you see, habit. But when are you going to replace those bad habits with a good habit, like walking every day? So reward yourself by connecting the habit to something pleasurable. So they call that syncing with pleasure. Okay? Aside from that, I suggest that you keep score. Keeping score might be tracking on the calendar how many successful days out of the month, out of the week, that you've been doing what you set out to do. The first thing you did was stack the habit. You added it to something you already were doing. You're already driving home from work. That's already a habit. It's a part of the routine, right? So now you got a new ritual. You're going to turn left towards the gym instead of turning right towards home. You're syncing with pleasure. You know, when you get to the gym, you get to listen to your favorite artist sing. Makes your heart race makes your chakras spin and you keep score. So that way you're able to track well beyond the 21st day the creation of a new norm that'll work for you. So, as it relates to moving forward, it's obvious to many of us that we need to create some new habits. And we need to replace bad habits with good habits. That's obvious. So we want to make sure we understand it's not going to be easy. But start with habits that you can do often enough that they become easy. Okay? The new habit needs to be attractive. There needs to be an outcome that you find worth it. All right? So this new habit should be attractive. It'll better position you in the workplace. It'll assist your relationship. Right? Your health is going to improve. Something about this new habit that's obvious we need to create it, needs to be easy enough to start, attractive enough for you to say it's worth me taking the steps, and satisfying. The results should bring satisfaction, enjoyment, fulfillment. All right? So these are some of the things that I want you to think about this week. We've gone over different things on this board. And as busy as this board looks this week, the easel, took a little work this week with cutting out these little pieces. But I hope that it makes sense. I hope you got something out of it. I often don't put everything that I need to say into the live because, one, for sake of time, I don't want to do that. Two, I leave for you room to apply yourself and add in your effort to go back and maybe watch, to go back, share, make some comments that maybe you didn't along the way. And also go back and look at the notes and actually look at the links where I'm sending you extra information. I'm breaking down my main points. Because when I sit in front of you, I come from the heart. I take all week to figure out what's going to go on this board. Sometimes it comes all at once, and other times it comes bit by bit by bit by bit, and I have to make sense of it. But I'm not sitting here reading the script, and I didn't sit in front of this camera before it was turned live and try to recite what I was going to say. I trust my heart, and I trust that you can hear that I'm coming from a genuine place. There's no con in this connection. I just want to make sure that you realize that all these spots on the board serve a purpose. But it's no greater point than this right here. It's me versus me, and it's you versus you. So although you may be playing the position where you're on these categories in the white boxes, but there's just as much of a lesson from life in all these black boxes. So in closing, I'll put it like this. Review your routines and make sure that they're working for you. Replace bad habits found in those routines with some good habits. Come up with your own beliefs. And let's stop rocking with the old beliefs that were handed to us that we never even checked. And I'm not going to go into beliefs that I was handed, that I know most of you were handed also, because I don't want to shock or shake anyone's belief system. That's not for me to do. But I would say challenge your beliefs, okay? And know that you might find some lies nestled in belief and what you believe. Stack your habits with ones that already exist. Start a new ritual that makes it easier to engage beyond this 21-day myth. Make your bed. As within, so without. Let's make sure we got a nice bed to come back to. All right? My mom always said, you make a mess, you're going to have to lie in it. And that was real true. So I try to make sure I clean my bed up. Sync up with what makes you happy. Sync your habits to something that you enjoy doing. We know that what I'm saying might be obvious, but obvious doesn't always mean that we do it. Okay, so be self-aware of that. Live this life to its fullest. All right? Keep the score. As a kid, we used to track how tall we were getting. We would track how old we were getting until it wasn't cool because somebody made us believe that getting older wasn't a good thing. I told you I'm going to 100. I'll see hopefully as many of you there as possible. But that might require that we engage some healthy habits, right? So we keep score. Leverage everything. Leverage the time you spent watching me today and all these little tips that I've pointed you to. Leverage that, all right? Everything we do to improve gets easier each step we take. It's not gonna be easy, but the more we do it, it gets easier the more often we do it. Let go of your comfort zone. Let it go. We talked about let go of your ego a week or so ago. I'm saying let go of your comfort zone as well. All right? When you let go of your past, you become a lot more attractive to those that rock with you in your present. A lot of us have to walk with people who still are carrying around the trash of their past, and it stinks. Let it go. Learn something new every day that gives every day significance. Learn something new every day. It gives the current moment significance. And let's play chess as opposed to playing checkers. Let's move about the board with the power of free will as opposed to the predictability of 4 optional movements as it relates to checkers. So I bring us all the way right back to where we started. You and I are here. It's your move. It's your choice. Will you move forward, or by mere bad habit resort backwards to reaction by the next Facebook post or YouTube video or news post or governor report or presidential action or tweet? Don't be invited back to reaction. Leave that old comfort zone. Leave that old comfort zone by replacing a habit. So, with that being said, it's your move. If you have any questions for me and my team, always email us at thoughttribe@mail.com. thoughttribe@mail.com. I invite you again to download the app, Think About It, in the Apple and Android store for a daily thought, whether it be a thought or a full quote. All the quotes come directly out of this book, so you're going to get 365 days of different quotes straight from the pages of something to think about. If you're interested in this book, which I'll be breaking down next week, you can always just visit johnnywilliams.com, and access to the book is right there. So I sign off wishing you well, enjoy your weekend, and have a wonderful week next week, saying peace together, never apart. I'll see you soon.